I pray that God's word is spoken and that God's word is heard. Amen. Please be seated. Well, as we enter into this Feast of All Saints, I want to name out loud how awkward and with what cognitive dissonance we chanted that psalm today. Was anyone else here incredibly uncomfortable with the second half of that song? Yeah, sing to the Lord a new song? All this vengeance doesn't sound like a new song, if new means transformed or healed or saved or liberated from the brokenness that is our human existence, right? It's all vengeance and swords and sing to the Lord a new song? But maybe All Saints is the perfect day for us to come face to face with the cognitive dissonance that is simply being human. That we are both blessed and broken, beautiful and dreadful. And we hold all of that within our possibility. But we come here for something more. We acknowledge our brokenness, and at the same time, we come looking for healing and transformation and grace as we seek to live more and more into the people God has called us to be in Jesus. And that's really what All Saints is about. Now, here's the thing. I know it's really ironic in a church, speaking of cognitive dissonance, a church like St. Peter's, where we have windows full of colorful saints, to acknowledge that nowhere in the Bible is the word saint used to mean somebody in the Christian Hall of Fame. Nowhere in the Bible is the word saint used to be the special people who get it right. Nowhere in the Bible is the word saint used to mean if you work really hard and Jesus is really in your heart, and then you'll be like one of these super Christians. Nowhere. In the Bible, the word saint simply means a part of this community of believers. And we heard the word used twice in the reading Hank read this morning from Ephesians. He's not meaning like the special people in your church of Ephesus, the really good ones. He means all of them. He means all of us. Even on those days when the second half of Psalm 149 resonates more comfortably than we would like to on our better days. Even then. And so on All Saints, one of the things we acknowledge is that even with our blessedness and brokenness, our beauty and our devastating capacities, we are held in the love of God. And God seeks to continue to work in and through us for our transformation and for the transformation of the world. And that's some of what we hear in the gospel this morning. Now, we heard this gospel, Luke's Sermon on the Plain, different from the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew's gospel. We heard this earlier this year, and if you want to go back and listen to that sermon, you can. Maybe I'll ask Catherine to put a link to it in our different feeds later this week, where I dove more deeply into the blessings and the woes and the not so woe meaning of woe. It's more a cautionary thing. Watch out, you who are rich. You who are full now, be careful. Then it's not a curse. The bottom line. But one of the things that struck me this time in my preparation for this passage, and you know this about me, whenever there's a difference between how one gospel writer tells a story and the way another gospel writer tells a story, that's where I want to dive in. And if you remember in Matthew's gospel, Jesus says, blessed are those who are poor in spirit. Blessed are those he puts it in this more distant third person category. All you grammar queens can enjoy this with me. Those of you who just hold on, I'll be back. In Luke's gospel, it's a second person collective tense. Blessed are all y'all. All y'all. It's perfect for Bluegrass Sunday. Blessed are all y'all. In a very comprehensive way. And you want to talk about comprehensive. I actually added verses to the beginning of this passage. They wanted us to pick up right when the Beatitudes start. I thought it was important to hear, you're not going to be surprised to hear the context, right? I want us to zoom out a little bit. And this is the piece that I think is so beautiful. He came down with them and stood on a level place with a great crowd of his disciples and a great multitude of people from where? All Judea, Jerusalem, and the coast of Tyre and Sidon. So those are some Gentile territories. They had come to hear him and to be healed of their diseases. And we find out he healed all of them. It's a pretty remarkable context in which this is spoken. This great multitude, all y'all. And so there's a comprehensive nature for these Beatitudes, but there's also a comprehensive nature to these woes that speaks to the degree to which we are all in this together. And that there is nothing Jesus is asking of us that he has not first taken on himself. He came down with them. Emmanuel, yes? The one who surrendered all of his godly reality to be human with us. He came down with them on a level place. So if Luke is the gospel of the great reversals, there is not a reversal that Jesus calls us to that he has not first lived. And so he offers these blessings and these woes, and we get this comprehensive sense that my salvation is bound up in your salvation, and my liberation is bound up in your liberation, and my healing and wholeness is bound up in your healing and wholeness. And if one of us is hungry, all of us are hungry. If one of us is oppressed, all of us is oppressed. So if we start to get a little nervous, we sitting here in a very pretty church in Del Mar, California, the second part of that sermon, and think, ooh, is he talking to us? Because I had a good breakfast this morning. I'm not worried about my SNAP benefits and where they went this last few days. What about those who are mourning? What about those who are crying? Our salvation is bound up in the whole. My salvation bound up in yours, my liberation bound up in yours, my being filled bound up in your being filled. We are all y'all, bound up in this together. So one of the things, this is going to be a little dissonant between Bluegrass Sunday. I'm about to make a Bono leap. One of the things that Bono of U2 likes to say is his spiritual director said, stop asking God to bless what you are doing, and instead look at what God is doing and bless that. Well, what is God blessing in this passage? Those who are poor, those who are hungry, those who mourn, those who are persecuted. There is not a place that Jesus wants us to go that he has not gone first. He came down with them and stood on a level place with that great crowd. So the third part of this sermon, I think, are our marching orders. But I say to you that listen, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who abuse you. And the bottom line, you bet. Do to others as you would have them do to you. I don't need to tell you it is a tumultuous world out there. I don't need to tell you that it is a terrifying time for some people. out there right now. How are we going to get through it? Sometimes a number of you come and say, how are we going to get through this? This is how we're going to get through this. Love, even when it's hard. Knowing that Jesus is not asking anything of us that he has not first done himself. And to be really careful, because when the tension gets to us, sometimes, we let that tension come out sideways to those who are close to us. You've probably seen it happening in different parts of your world. The stress coming out the wrong direction and hitting someone that doesn't really deserve it. I've been seeing a lot of that lately. Hold on to these words of Jesus. This is the saintliness we are called to. Not because we're perfect, not because we belong in a Christian Hall of Fame, but because Jesus did it first. Do to others as you would have them do to you. Love your enemies. Love. And whatever God is blessing, go and be there and be love.